So, welcome to not only the MENA session, but our final Q&A session for this round of NGFP Fellowship. And it's an absolute pleasure to be in your company. My name is Sarah Spencer, and I'm the Community Weaver and Fellowship Lead at NGFP and SWAF. I think you all know that, but if you don't, it's a pleasure to meet you. As we mentioned, for those just joining, please introduce yourself in the chat box. We want to get to know you. In this session, we will be providing a bit of background to NGFP in the 2027 Fellowship for those who are new to the Fellowship. We are joined by members of our community to hear about their experiences in the network and more specifically, what advice they can share to support your application before finally giving you the option to ask questions. This is a MENA focused Q&A, so I'm delighted to be joined by Iman and Mariam from Dubai Future Foundation, and also Iman, who is our MENA 2024 Fellow. So, many of you will already have heard about NGFP, so I'll just share a few key message points to set the scene and leave plenty of time to hear from Iman, Miriam, and Iman and to answer your important questions. So, NGFP is a global network focused on futures and positive impact. Our mission is to help drive the changes needed to create a fairer, more sustainable, and more equitable world for future generations. So, we believe this change is being led by you. Everybody in this room today who's showing up. Emerging foresight practitioners, future focused activists, change makers, community leaders, all who are using futures thinking to imagine and create better futures. So thank you. We support fellows by helping them develop their ideas and projects. So while also growing as practitioners, we will give you multi-layers of support throughout the fellowship journey. It's great to see so many of you here today. And we encourage you to ask questions and share what brought you to NGFP because we really love hearing about your journeys. So as you can see on the screen, the fellowship offers support in multiple ways. During the first year, we provide a more intensive support through an accelerator style program, giving fellows opportunities to test ideas, build connections, participate in foresight training and events. We also encourage fellows and network members to shape their own journeys. So we create spaces where collaboration and innovation can grow, including thematic hubs and our online community, network-wide learning sessions, and weekly opportunities bulletin. These platforms help people connect, learn, and bring their projects to life. So, before I talk about funding and eligibility in the FTMs, I'd like to just explain on the difference between becoming a fellow and becoming a part of the Sensing Network. So each year we select 25 projects to join the fellowship. These projects may be led by an individual or a team of up to 5 people. Fellows receive a more focused, tailored support to develop their ideas and project. Anyone who applies meets the criteria and successfully completes the judging process is invited to join our wider sensing network. This network now includes over 1,000 members and offers access to our WhatsApp community, virtual events, learning sessions, and thematic hubs. So it's definitely worth applying. While there are only 25 fellowship places each year, there are many more opportunities to get involved. So last year alone, we welcomed over 200 people to the wider sensing network. So to the good stuff. Funding. All 25 fellows and their projects receive 1,000 US dollars of funding at the start. They then can apply or are invited to apply at the end of the fellowship year for the New Horizon Fund. And one project will be chosen by a judging panel to receive that. On eligibility, you must be between the ages of 18 and 35, or if you are over 35, you must have less than 1 year's experience foresight. And that is to ensure that the cohort begins at a similar level of experience. So, and that is entirely up for you to judge. The areas of focus that the judges are focusing on this year are that people and projects are committed to community and network building, that have a brave, pioneering, futures-focused project idea for lasting change at the systems level in their communities all globally and can benefit from foresight. So projects will be enhanced, scaled, impact deepened by using futures and foresight. That's the kind of thing we're really looking for. You can be and apply from anywhere in the world with any sector focus, primarily targeting those anchored in the global south. So currently living there and project impact place taken there. And again, this is specifically for MENA region, so we'll be kind of leaning more towards that region throughout this session. Foresight transformation missions are identified global challenge areas via SWAF and NGFP, particularly seeking projects addressing some of the issues arising as part of these challenges. So we have introduced two new Foresight transformation mission areas this year, and they are at the bottom, which are rural futures and health. We have done that so that we're in better alignment with the NGFP thematic hubs. I'm aware that I've just thrown a lot of information at you, so I just want to clarify and confirm that this information is available on our website. And if you are ever unsure, then you can always drop a question in the chat or send us a question via our email, and all of those details will be at the end of this slide. So we will send that with you. So we are now going to hear from Iman, Mariam and Iman. They are going to share their experience and insights on the fellowship to support your application and or decision to apply. So for the third year, we are reserving a space for emerging practitioners to join the fellowship from the Middle East and North Africa region in partnership with Dubai Future Foundation. A valued partner of NGFP, the Dubai Future Foundation lends its support to elevate the voices of young and emerging foresight practitioners from this region. And I am so happy to introduce Iman and Mariam from Dubai Future Foundation, and also, and Iman is a judge from DFF, and also Iman, who is our 2024 MENA Fellow. And they will talk about their experiences in the fellowship, but what it is that is important for this MENA Fellowship. Just to confirm that judges are really an integral part of the NGFP Fellowship, and not only did they decide who to put through to the Fellow, but they also act beyond that fellowship. So they are mentors and partners and advocates and collaborators for the NGFP practice, and we're thankful for those. We will be opening up the floor for questions once we've heard from everybody. So yes, without further ado, I would like to invite Iman to take the floor. Thank you. DFF Iman. There's too many Imans.
Yes. Hi, how are you, everyone? Thanks so much for having me today as part of the Q&A. I love when there's two or three imams. I was actually on a call once with four imams. Who would have thought that my name was this popular? But, and I was born in North Africa, and Iman is from North Africa, and I'm half Egyptian. So there's a lot more in common than you imagine than just the name. But yeah, lovely to have you all with us today. To be honest with you, I'm actually very keen and curious to hear your questions. So I'm going to keep it very short from my end. This is the third year we do this. Super excited just to see what are some of the things that people in the region are really thinking about and reflecting on, and how they future and how they integrate or embed futures thinking and foresight into projects. It's really, really important to kind of focus on the futures or the foresight aspect of these projects. There is no shortage of amazing projects in the region that are focused on impact, or that are focused on empowerment, or focused on climate change, and all kinds of great stuff that we certainly need for the world and for humanity. But I think that the key here is really that focus on futures thinking, on foresight. How do we push the frontier in terms of how we think about futures and the way that we embed it into our everyday lives? Ultimately, with everything that we do with the Dubai Future Foundation, where this is kind of our mandate, is to really think about positioning cities, whether it be Dubai or whether it be other cities in the world, to push them to think 10 years ahead. What does that human of the future look like? What are some of the things that we are going to be facing 10 years from now? And how is it that we can solve some of these problems by imagining different scenarios, imagining different ways to fix these issues or these problems. So I'm very excited just to hear, I guess, some of your questions and to hear some of the ways that you think about the future and the way that you and one two questions I constantly get asked. One very broad is, how does one end up working in a place like DFF or in the space of futures? And I say this all the time: there is no sort of magic trail. There is no yellow brick road, the yellow brick lane that it comes to futures thinking or to the way that we sort of engulf ourselves into this space. It's essentially an obsession that we have, or people have, with thinking about the future in new and novel ways, and it's very much about being entrepreneurial when it comes to this space, I feel. And then the other thing is what's that one thing that I might be looking for? And again, there isn't really that one thing. It's cross-cutting. I'm looking to be inspired. I'm looking to kind of see something that I hadn't seen before. I'm looking to empower the voices that are in the region that have not had this opportunity before, particularly in the futures and foresight field. And yeah, so I'll leave it there just to kind of, again, open it up to Q&A and pass the mic back on. I'm not sure if maybe Mariam or Iman want to also bring in some thought into this, and looking forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, Iman. Mariam, Iman?
Sure, I'll jump here quickly. I mean, Iman said it really nicely, but essentially, this entire award is basically for us to learn from you all. I get so inspired and motivated from everyone who basically enters in this award. And for me, I look for people who are driven by passion and believe in the work that they do. And I like to see also lived experiences within the projects. And then just imagine and be curious, ask questions, be out there, talk to people, and so on.
Thank you so much, Mariam. And Iman, you are a MENA Fellow, so we are super curious to hear about your experiences, about the fellowship, your journey, how you got here, how it feels now. Please.
Okay, how long do you have? No, I'm kidding. Hello, everyone. So my name is Iman as well. I am from Morocco, based in Morocco and from Morocco. I wanted to maybe go a bit about the application experience because this is probably what you're most interested in at the moment. And then I'm happy to talk about the fellowship maybe in the Q&A. But I remember that the questions that I went through in the application, I found to be very hard. I was like, wow, this demands a lot of introspection. And I had to sit with them for a bit. So it wasn't something that I was able to kind of write down one go, answer all the questions, and then that's it. And I took them very seriously in the sense that they helped me to clarify the project, and they stress tested it in different ways. And it was important for me, and also maybe I should mention it, that we applied as a team. So we were two people, and so it was myself and my life and business partner. And we told ourselves that we're not just going to answer from our head, but we also need to answer from our heart and our gut. And that was kind of a bit of the harder part, to put all of this together. And it started with a 15-year-old frustration and pain point that we really wanted to solve, but that we knew that we couldn't just solve through this fellowship alone. But it's something that we've been working on for a while. Same actors, same solutions, none of these solutions working. And this was the opportunity to look at it from a different perspective, from a different way. And we were convinced that foresight and futures methods would allow us to kind of shed a light into how we can solve this differently. And this is basically the economic integration of women in Morocco. We linked it very closely also to our lived experience, like Mariam was saying, the fact also that it's linked to our daughter that we have together, and we were thinking about her future, and we want her to imagine it for herself, not other people to do so. So the application process confirmed that this is a project that is core to our mission, to our life. And I think this is what also I wanted to tell you, and I told the other fellows, is choose a project that you will do anyway, irregardless of if you're selected or not. And the application process allows you to clarify this, allows you to go deep into the questions, but also in conversations with the community and other people. The hardest part also for me was the video. It was the first time that I applied to a video, and I was in the beginning quite shy, so I pulled my partner with me on it. Maybe don't over rehearse it. Genuine and imperfect will beat perfection and over polished. Yeah, so this was kind of looking back at the application itself. I'm happy to share the fellowship journey in the Q&A. I don't want to take over too much. But I was thinking about what would I tell you looking back. That first of all, your project will most likely change. And yeah, the idea is not to over-engineer the application version. Really go with what you have. Do not build it to be selected. Build it as something that you will write or you would do anyway. So apply with the project that you actually want to do, even if it doesn't fit the clean, very box and all of. For example, we had an issue with choosing which were the transformation pathways, and we were like, is it technology or is it democracy? I don't know. So I think it doesn't matter so much as long as you put something out there. And the last thing that I wanted to really tell you is hit submit. Give yourself the chance to be selected. I was almost at the position where I was not going to hit it. And we were not going to submit, and it was kind of last minute. And I am so happy that we did. And it's truly an experience that has made us grow personally, professionally. And yeah, last thing, and I'm done. Refrain from using AI to write it for you. Please help it challenge your thinking, clarify maybe your application, but we all can tell that it is not you who's behind. So I'm going back to imperfect and genuine over polished and perfect. Okay, happy to answer any questions. Amen. I think you have other things you want to say.
Yeah, if I could just reflect on what you just said, Iman, just in terms of tips on successful or impressive applications, I think in terms of what I look for as a judge. I think to Iman's point, you don't work for the fellowship. The fellowship should work for you, right? So the fellowship should be the thing that adds value to your project. You shouldn't be in it to kind of make the project work for the fellowship, right? So I totally agree with this. And I think as you kind of describe your project, if you feel there are missing pieces to the project, or if you feel that, something's not quite right, that's okay. We are not looking for the most perfect project, because if it was the most perfect project, then you don't need the fellowship. You're kind of good to go, right? So that's kind of the point, is to have to just be open and transparent about it. So there's that one tip. And then the other thing on the use of AI, I'm very conscious that English is not always people's first language. And so there are times where people struggle to kind of be filling applications in English. Make a note of it. As you fill it in, if you've written the application in one language and you have now used AI as a tool to help you translate some of that text, tell the judges, write it in the box, say, my native language is X, and I would, I'm now using this tool to help me write in English. And it'll come across so much better when we know that you've used AI to actually help your application. What we don't want to see is AI writing your application, because if we see that, then we become uninterested. I work for the DFF. We have everything. For those of you who haven't seen it, we have a whole thing around HMC icons where people can declare the use of AI and the extent of that they use it in their work and their design and their research. So I'm all for the use of AI. I don't think anybody should shy away with it, but it's more around ensuring that everything that's on that application is human-led. Right. And I think that's kind of the point of what we're trying to say. Please talk about the project. I fully appreciate that you all have probably families or you have a journey, and I would love to hear all of your stories, but you have an X amount of time. Please use it to the best use possible. and tell us about your project, or tell us something that we would not normally have been able to read. And especially for those who are non-English native speakers, use the video to your advantage to tell us something that you found difficult to write. Please refrain to talk about your children and what successful stories they may have had or things like that. Again, unfortunately, it's a finite amount of time, so it's important that you stick to the project and not your personal circumstances. And for the women that are on the call, or for anyone that likes makeup, don't worry too much about your appearance. We don't judge. It's all good. Be natural. Don't worry too much whether it's the right background or it happens. If it makes you feel better, I'm standing outside my door because I can't go inside because then my kids are gonna come after me. So it's all good. We're here to make it human and to remind people that the future is human. So yeah, those are just some tips that I could think of as Iman was talking.
Thank you so much, Iman. They are all wonderful insights and tips. I spied another MENA fellow on our call who is with us for a teeny tiny amount of time. So Shreya, I just wanted to, and this is on the spot.
Yeah.
Can you say hi and just tell us a
Hi. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Shreya. I'm a 2026 MENA fellow. Sorry, I just hopped on the call super last minute because I had a little time in between meetings. I do have 3 to 4 minutes left, but happy to say and connect with everybody. Yeah, it's been a great experience so far. Totally agree with what Iman was saying and Iman as well. And Mariam, I think just be yourself, like really, I picked a project that I've always been super passionate about. I grew up in Dubai and currently in Toronto, but yeah, really reflecting on your own personal experiences, and that really pulls through in the project, I feel like. And it's been overall like a great experience working with DFF, working with NGFP. It's a huge network and a huge network of, really, really cool people that are also super passionate about their own projects, and they're also passionate about collaborating. And yeah, it's been a great experience overall, but happy to answer any questions later on. I'll put my LinkedIn in the chat in case anyone wants to connect and has any questions later on about the application. The video, I totally agree. Like, I think I took it in my condo. I don't know, there's like a common space, and but I think it's the story that comes across that's strong, and it's if it's just being authentically you, I think that's sort of the approach that I took. Um, but yeah, happy to answer any other questions. I think overall, if I were to reflect on my experience so far, I feel super supported, really supported by DFF. I know Mariam and we get on our quarterly calls. We've had two so far, and then we've met in person too a couple of times. So it's been a really good experience overall.
Thank you so much. What a treat. So we have about 15 minutes to answer your questions. So please do put your hand up. Thank you so much, Faye, and ask away. Thank you so much, Rhea, for joining us. That was yeah,
Thanks.
super
I've
insightful.
gotta go. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good luck, everyone. Bye.
But you have Iman, Mariam, Iman, and myself at your service for the next 15 minutes. And of course, if there are questions that surface beyond this, you haven't run out of time. There is the email address. You can always contact us and we will help you beyond this. This is just an introduction and a hello, but the conversation continues way beyond this Q&A. So don't worry if you haven't thought of a question or something pops up afterwards. But yeah, let's hear you. Faye, if you'd like to unmute and ask your question, please.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you guys so much for all your insights. I was just wondering, since this is a MENA fellowship, is it possible to integrate Arabic as part of the project where it adds value, not necessarily as a main focus, but like يعني as one element of how the project is designed or delivered to reach a like wider audience, especially if we want it in the MENA setting.
When you say integrate Arabic, do you mean as in something the project will have to do with the Arabic language? Is that what you mean, or do you mean applying in the Arabic language? Oh, I think, did we lose her?
No, Faye, you're on mute.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I just
That's
realized
okay.
I was muted.
That's
Not
okay.
necessarily as a main component, but let's say as part of the design elements or as part of reaching a wider audience, whereas the main output would still be in English, but there would be like Arabic parts integrated. I don't know if that makes sense.
I don't know if we lost Iman. Okay, if it's not related to the Arabic language in a sense, we're all up for creativity. That's fine. I believe so. After if you were selected, you're able to integrate Arabic within, if you say you want to do your presentations and so on. We do have in our networks basically individuals and organizations that all for the work in relation to Arabic, foresight in Arabic and so on. But yeah, I don't see any reason why not integrate Arabic. It's just I believe your idea is not related to the Arabic language itself. But even if it was related to the Arabic language, we're also happy and able to connect you with people who do foresight in that realm.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your question. Imelda.
Good afternoon. I hope I'm audible.
You are.
I have two questions. My first question would speak to people who are new to the foresights and futures field. What would make their application stand out? And the second question would be, what qualities do judges look for in a project that make the project stand out from being, a simple social impact project from a futures focused kind of project? Yeah, those are my two questions.
Iman would be a really good. Is Iman back with us?
No,
I
I
am.
think
Apologies.
Iman, did you catch Imelda's question around what makes an application stand out? What are the qualities that judges look for in an application?
Yeah, so I think I kind of mentioned it earlier. Obviously we're looking for impact. We're looking for a bit of that dreamy side to things as well. Sarah, you know that Getchi and I always have these debates between, the impact and the dream side. I think it's striking the right balance. You need to kind of have a bit of visioning, a vision exercise of some sort when it comes to your project. But I am looking for projects that can be materialized in some way, shape, or form. So a project that can be realistic to some degree. Obviously, it's not always the right thing or not always the easiest thing to balance. So I think those are the I would say. And then, of course, the impact or the project itself needs to be based in the Middle East, right? Or needs to have some form of impact in the region. So I know we had one of the fellows that just joined. She's based out of Canada, but her project was based in Dubai. And so that's how she ended up being a MENA fellow, right? So I am looking for that. For something that is specific or that's novel to the region. I'm not looking for you, if you already have a project that works well in another part of the world, I'm not looking for you to replicate the project because that essentially doesn't work that way in terms of a MENA context. But I am looking for projects that are specific to the region and to be able to say, that project has had impact or amplification of voices or work one way or another. So yeah, those are the kind of two things I'd say. And apologies, I know earlier I dropped out on the Arabic
Arabic language conversation, but just to say, you know, if your project does integrate the Arabic language in some way, shape, or form, of course, we would welcome that. Myself, Mariam, of course, are both of us are Arabic speakers. So, you know, if in the video or anything like that, you are finding ways to use the Arabic language to present, I wouldn't worry too much. Obviously, the application is in English, but yeah, we're obviously always encouraging local languages, indigenous languages to come through the application, Arabic or otherwise.
Thank you, Aman. And just a slight build on that is, you know, there's a clear theory of change. There is a clear beginning, middle, and end. Like, how are you going to achieve? If there's real thought and structure to what you want to achieve, that's what is looked for. Clarity. If you're new to the field and haven't started integrating Futures of Foresight into your, how might you? You know, if you're not using it, then how might you use it? How do you envision using it? And if you are using it, how are you using it? Just be really clear, but also, you know, be really exciting and be authentically you. You know, that's what we're most intrigued about. It's just you as a person. You know, why are you passionate about this? Why is it important to you? Like, that's what we're really intrigued. You know, make our hearts skip a beat sometimes with what your with your words and you. And I have numbers on this, but I want to invite the person who has their hand up to speak and ask a question, please. And you're currently muted if you are speaking. Hello? Your audio is really, really quiet. I think not just for me. Can you have another try at getting closer to the mic?
If it's easier, you can type the question in the chat as well. That might be an easier thing for you.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes. Loud and clear.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Sorry for that. I think network problems.
Don't worry.
So I'm Eric from Kenya. I don't know if I'm in the right group, but if you allow me to just ask question because I'm an applicant and a potential applicant that we want to put across the application for this call. So basically, I do projects in Mathare slums, Nairobi, Kenya. So we are a community-based organization that trains and creates opportunities for young people in photography, film, sports, and performing arts. Now my question is, there's a project that I want to submit for this call, and of course, thinking about the concept that you're using, the foresight and the future concepts that you're using for this specific call. So I would like to understand how does NGFP evaluate the quality and the rigor of a foresight project, particularly when it comes to outcomes rather than predictive. So maybe I repeat again, how does NGFP evaluate the quality and the rigor of a foresight project, particularly when outcomes are exploratory rather than predictive? So that is question one.
Yep.
Then question two is, what level of stakeholder engagement and co-creation is expected in fellowship project, and how are community-driven foresight processes assessed during selection and throughout the fellowship? And finally, is that clear?
Yep. Yes.
Okay, so what distinguishes the project that successfully progresses from the initial 1,000 US dollar seed funding stage to becoming strong contenders for the 10,000 USD grand prize? Are there specific indicator of system impact, innovation, or community contribution that fellows should prioritize? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eric, for your questions. And absolutely, this is the right platform. This is MENA Focus, but it's an NGFP fellowship Q&A. So, in terms of how do we judge, there is a strict criteria that goes against all of the questions that you are answering in the application form. So, in terms of like evaluating the predicted outcomes versus the outcomes that are lived, uh, it's a criteria that's adhered to. I mean, it's like there should be some demonstrations or examples of how you might engage and some scenarios or um uh yeah scenario, like setting out clear scenarios. If you're not currently engaging, you need to tell us about who the communities are, what the communities are, how you plan to engage, like what's your plan going beyond. Like if you were to get the fellowship, how is it that you are going to develop? How does the community help you develop your project or idea? Like, what is it that you want to achieve, and how you engage communities and how you engage Futures and Foresight tools within your project and idea? That's what we want to see. But the judging have a quite a strict criteria that they measure each and every question against. In terms of your question around engagement in the fellowship, if I think I heard this right, going, and I think this overlaps with the final question from you about distinguishing the beginning of the seed funding towards the New Horizon funding. I think this is all relevant. You get out of the fellowship what you put in. We do understand that Futures and Foresight isn't everybody's first career. We do know that, you know, there's work that people need to do, and Futures and Foresight is a, you know, secondary or side hustle. It's not everybody has the time to dedicate to Futures and Foresight. So we understand that, you know, people have children. So we understand that this also has a factor in your fellowship journey participation. So we encourage you to attend Futures training. We encourage you to be part of the community in every way possible. You will be invited, and it's entirely up to you if you can say yes and participate. But you're certainly not excluded if it's just the realness of life that gets in the way of that. We have other avenues. In terms of the what is the leap from being awarded a fellowship and the initial seed funding of $1,000 to getting to the New Horizon Fund, that basis is based on the progression and the communication or the commitment that you've made throughout the fellowship. It's not about you just showing up for everything, but it's also about how you, you know, intertwine with the community. How do you support peers? How is your project progressing? How are you progressing professionally? You know, it's a professional and personal development objective, but you are guided along your fellowship journey right from the very beginning to how you may make a successful application for the New Horizon Fund at the end. I hope that's helpful. Iman, Mariam, Iman, please do add stuff that I might have missed. But Eric, does that help?
Yeah, I think for me, I am now I have now the information that was lacking on my hand. That is very helpful. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Awesome.
And I'll make some two comments, and maybe I should be done when I'm making my maybe one or two comments. So one, of course, this is a new concept to me. Honestly, I've been doing like community projects for the last 13 years,
Yeah.
and when I read about the foresight and the future, I was like, oh, this is amazing. And interesting enough is that somehow, but we don't recognize it. But for me, I think the way you even explain it, it prepares you for the risk that is ahead and also for the opportunities that are ahead of you. So either way, in the event that I become successful, it is fine. If I don't become successful, it is fine. And I'm looking just forward to be part of this community, but it will be interesting to be, of course, part of the journey. But thank you so much. I really appreciate. Thank
Thank
you, Sarah.
Thank you so much, Eric, and I really appreciate that. Do go on the website because there is supporting material to help you with your application. We want to do everything we can to get you through, even like Sensing Network and Fellowship. We want each and every one of you to be successful because you are helping us grow this amazing community of change makers and future leaders. So we want to do as much as we can to get you through that. So please do, again, reach out via email if there's any questions, but there is an abundance of material, supportive material on the website to help you with your application. And the application has quite pretty good cues and prompts in alongside its questions. So good luck. We are
Yeah,
now
thank you.
at 1:45, and I'm really sorry. I have to be really strict because I have to go and pick up my children. As Aman has come back from being with hers, I have now got to collect mine. So I just wanted to just reiterate that we close in just over a week's time. So Friday the 26th is closing, but the conversation, you still have opportunities to ask questions. So please, read what's on the website and press that submit button, as Iman did a couple of years ago. And we are so happy that they did, Iman and Isam did, and Shreya and everybody, the fellows. So thank you so much for being with us. Thank you, Iman and Mariam and Iman, for sharing your wonderful insights and really helpful tips. And just good luck, everybody who's on this call and wants to make an application. We can't wait to welcome you to this community.